Welcome back to Investing Talk podcast. Today we're focusing all our attention on Constellation Energy Corp. We've gone through quite a stack of reports, market data, internal research, and the big question we're really trying to answer is pretty simple. Is Constellation Energy Corp a good buy right now?
Yeah, our goal here is to cut through all that noise, really give you the clearest picture we can. We'll look at recent catalysts, the company's competitive strength, and the technical side too.
Absolutely. We want to give you that shortcut, get you fully up to speed. And just before we dive in, a quick reminder, please subscribe, like, and hey, leave a comment on this analysis. If there's a specific company you want us to look into down the road, definitely let us know in the comments below. Okay, so let's get into this recent momentum. Constellation Energy Corp has had a pretty explosive run these last 3 months, right? August through October 2025.
Yeah.
What really kicked things off? What triggered this surge in attention?
Well, the big one was the Q2 earnings release back in August. They posted a quarterly EPS of $9.57. And that wasn't just a beat, It was a significant surprise compared to what analysts were expecting. It made them, aggressively upgrade their views almost immediately.
And I suppose that news landed right when things were already heating up in the broader energy space. We saw some quick reactions from ETF inclusion news, and maybe more importantly, all that talk about speeding up the U.S. power grid expansion. That kind of big infrastructure spend has to help a generator this size, right?
Exactly. Then moving into September, you saw that sector rotation speed up. Portfolio managers were shifting money, towards low carbon and nuclear energy providers. Constellation Energy Corp being the big player in U.S. nuclear. Well, they were a natural place for that money to go. That led to some really strong relative outperformance. Investors were hunting for secure cash flows, but also with those real decarbonization credentials.
And the company backed that up, not just with growth, but stability too. They kept that quarterly dividend payout steady at $0.39 per share. That signals solid underlying cash flows, which is pretty key for utility.
Right. So by October, you saw all that interest reflected in the stock price itself. Trading volume was strong, volatility was there, but it stayed in a fairly tight range, like $355 to $369. This wasn't panic buying. It feels more like sustained, strong institutional interest. They want utilities that deliver reliability, even with higher interest rates, making other sectors look a bit shaky.
Okay, so the strong momentum is clear. But if we zoom out a bit, what's the bigger picture context here? Why this company? Why now?
Fundamentally, the momentum is sitting right at the intersection of two huge long-term trends. First, the absolute need for decarbonization. Second, the urgent demand for extreme power reliability. Constellation fits perfectly because its main asset, nuclear, is both low carbon and incredibly reliable. That's really the engine driving this premium valuation we're seeing.
That leads us nicely into the fundamentals, the engine itself. Let's look past the stock chart for a second. That forward PE, around 33.85 for a utility, that looks, pretty rich. Why are analysts okay with that? Why is the stock getting dinged for being expensive?
Well, the premium is basically the price you pay for that reliability and the visibility on growth. Constellation isn't really trading like your typical slow growth utility anymore. It's trading more like a growth stock that has a serious competitive advantage, a moat. We saw that in Q2 2025 revenue, it grew 11.3% year over year. That's $6.81 billion. That's outpacing almost all its peers.
So the market's rewarding them for growth, others just aren't matching. And that growth is built on being better operationally.
Yeah.
Tell us about that moat, that competitive advantage.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, and frankly, where the valuation starts to make sense. Constellation Energy Corp is the biggest competitive supplier of clean energy in the U.S. They have this unmatched fleet of nuclear assets, over 31,000 megawatts of capacity. But the killer number, the really critical one, is efficiency. Their nuclear fleet hit a 94.8% capacity factor in Q2 2025.
Wow. 94.8%. Let's just pause on that. That's almost perfect, right? It means they're basically running flat out, only idle about 5% of the time.
Precisely. That 94.8% is best-in-class reliability. And this is why the stock's valuation is kind of separating from the rest of the pack. The market now gets that these massive power users, think about the booming data center industry, all the AI infrastructure build-out, they need constant 347 zero-carbon power. Constellation's reliability puts them in a unique spot to sign premium contracts, power purchase agreements with those big tech companies. Their moat isn't just size, it's reliability when power demand is just insatiable.
Okay, yeah, that really does make the premium valuation much more understandable. And when we look at the scale trailing 12 months revenue nearing $25 billion, supporting $3 billion in net income, what does that tell you about how they're structured?
Those big TTM numbers, what they show is that they maintain pretty impressive margins and strong cash flow generation. It's really the definition of stability in the utility sector, and it lets them fund these huge future investments without putting too much stress on their balance sheet.
And they are putting their money where their mouth is on that
Yeah.
future reliability. Big spending plans, right? $3 billion this year, going up to $3.5 billion in 2026. And a good chunk of that increase, 35%, is specifically for nuclear fuel investment.
Yeah, that's management essentially doubling down on keeping that competitive edge for the next decade, investing in nuclear fuel, modernization. It underscores their commitment to locking in that, near 95% capacity factor for years to come. That's why analysts, even with the stock trading near that average target of about $360, are still saying buy. They expect that target to keep moving higher.
So, rock-solid fundamentals, anchored by that incredible operational moat. Okay, let's switch gears now and look at how the market's actually trading this story, the technical side. What's the chart telling us about the short-term strength and where it might be headed?
Technically, the stock is in a massive confirmed uptrend. It's just crushed the industry over the last 6 months, up 79.2% versus about 48% for the industry average. This isn't just a little rally. It feels like a real structural shift in how it performs relative to peers.
And you can see that clearly in the moving averages. The recent close was around $370. It's trading well above both its 50-day average, which is around $336, and miles above the 200-day, down below $292. When a stock's trading that far above its 200-day moving average, what does that signal about institutional conviction?
It signals deep underlying health. That 200-day average is a key long-term marker for big institutions. Trading way above it suggests major funds have been buying for months and they're holding on. It says the long-term trend is still very much intact.
What's also interesting is the momentum reading itself. Even after this huge 6-month run-up, the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, it's kind of neutral, isn't it? Around 45.78.
That's crucial, yeah. For listeners, what that means is, despite this huge rally, we haven't hit those classic overbought signals yet, those flashing red lights. The stock is strong, yes, but it doesn't look exhausted from a technical standpoint. It suggests there's still potentially significant room to run higher before you'd expect a major pullback just because momentum got too hot.
So the technicals seem to support more upside, assuming the sentiment holds. The projected 3-month trading range we're seeing is ambitious, looking at maybe $355 on the low end, up towards $405 if this trend keeps going.
And that positive sentiment seems backed up by the people who know the company best. Insider buying actually picked up last quarter. That's always a powerful signal, a vote of confidence from management. And institutional ownership is still high, confirming that the big money sees this as a core holding they need to have.
Okay, so now let's look ahead. What are the key events, the catalysts, that could shape things over the next, say, 3 months? Earnings has to be top of the list.
That's the big one, right? November 7th, 2025, the Q3 earnings release. Given the run-up and all the interest, this feels like a really critical moment. It'll likely frame near-term sentiment. Any beat there or maybe a guidance raise could easily push the stock towards that $400 level we just talked about.
Definitely. And we also have some key fund-related dates coming up later this year. Keep an eye on the S&P Utilities ETF rebalancing. That's November 18th. Constellation's bigger weight and its clean energy profile could attract some significant automatic buying from passive funds. Right. And then as we head towards year-end and into early next year, a couple of important transparency points. The year-end institutional holdings reports come out around December 31st. That'll show us how much the big managers bought in Q4, and then we'll start getting preliminary Q4 earnings info trickling out around February 2026.
Beyond those scheduled things, there's also a lot of, industry chatter and speculation about potentially bigger upside drivers. First, you keep hearing these persistent rumors about M&A. As the energy sector continues to consolidate, Constellation looks very attractive, either as a target someone might pay a premium for, or maybe even as a buyer using its strong financial position.
Second, that whole clean energy and nuclear story has really sparked talk about it being included in some of these larger, influential, ESG-focused mega-cap funds. If that happens, it could be a game changer for fund flows, forcing whole new groups of investors to buy the stock.
And you can't ignore the policy side either. There's buzz about potential new federal energy credits, maybe ones specifically for high-capacity, zero-carbon nuclear generation like theirs. That would directly boost their earnings potential and kind of validate their whole long-term strategy.
And finally, that other buzz we touched on, the potential for strategic partnerships using AI, artificial intelligence, for grid optimization. That really puts the company at an interesting crossroads, doesn't it? Between essential infrastructure and cutting-edge tech. Moves them way beyond just being a traditional utility.
No, it's important, obviously, to balance all this excitement with the risks. You always have potential headwinds. Regulatory changes are always a possibility. Volatility in nuclear fuel costs and, the inherent risk of an unexpected outage at a nuclear plant. Plus, there's always execution risk. Can they deliver on those big spending plans on time? But that said, management's track record, especially that 94.8% capacity factor, it does go a long way to mitigating those execution worries.
Okay, so putting it all together, the unmatched competitive position, the proven top-tier growth, the strong technicals, multiple catalysts on the horizon, where does that leave us on the overall investment thesis?
Based on everything we've looked at from the source material, the case looks exceptionally strong. We'd rate it a 9 out of 10 bullish. The core thesis really centers on Constellation's dominance in reliable nuclear power. That gives them arguably superior pricing power in a market that's getting increasingly desperate for constant clean energy.
So it sounds like the stock could be attractive for different types of investors then, maybe for short-term traders playing the news, like the upcoming earnings. But fundamentally, it seems like a compelling long-term investment too, playing that structural shift towards clean energy demand.
Exactly. And maybe here's the final thought, the provocative question for you to mull over, building on all this. Given Constellation's amazing capacity factor, that near 95%, and all this market talk about potential AI grid partnerships, how much will the growing, absolutely critical need for reliable power from sectors like data centers actually accelerate Constellation's pricing power and its growth over the next, say, 1 to 3 years? That convergence, of tech demand and operational excellence, that seems like their ultimate advantage going forward.
Fascinating point. Definitely shifts the perspective beyond just a simple utility play. Thanks for breaking that all down for us, and thank you for joining us for this look into Constellation Energy Corp. Catch you next time on Investing Talk Podcast.